This is West Yorkshire, a lovely rolling landscape. And the real strength of it is these marvellous stone walls. There's something very reassuring about them. They look as if they've been there for centuries and they're going to stay there for centuries. But in fact, they're not quite as tough as you might think. It wouldn't take very many more stones just getting loose to bring this whole lot tumbling down. So a landscape like this actually takes a lot of skill to keep it in one piece. A well-built dry stone wall really is very beautiful. But of course, these things are very functional as well. Take a little detail like this. This is a stile which makes it possible to get from one side of the wall to the other without actually bringing this section tumbling down. But these old stone walls don't just fall down in little short sections. A couple of fields away, ever since the crack of dawn, there have been a whole bunch of people knocking stone walls down in all directions. It's all right, though, because this is the National Dry Stone Walling Championship, and these derelict old walls provide the competitors with their raw material. In the 7 hours allowed, they'll rebuild a complete wall, with each competitor tackling a 3-yard stint. It's a terrific achievement, bringing the country's finest stone wallers together for the day, a real credit to their own association.
The Dry Stone Walling Association of Great Britain. We offer a centre for people to inquire on anything to do with walls, walling or wallers.
And is there a lot of interest in stone walling?
The 3 years that I've been with the association, I have seen a considerable increase, and we've certainly got more younger people coming in these days than there used to be.
And is it just for professionals?
No, it isn't. Our membership totals over 850 at the moment, and of those, there's only about 120 who class themselves as full-time professional wallers.
So what are most of the rest of the people?
People who are interested in seeing that walls continue and that the craft continues. Some dabble, some are amateurs, some don't want to wall at all, they just want to make sure the walls stay in our landscape.
Lawkland Green Farm near Settle has been chosen as the setting for this year's championship. The walls here really are magnificent. Some of them have through stiles or squeezers built into them. This is a step stile. And another piece of practical wall furniture is known in the trade as a cripple hole. It stops the cattle but lets the sheep pass through. But there's none of this posh stuff in the competition, just plain, honest walling. The organiser for the day is the man who farms here, Stephen Harrison.
The idea of this competition is to give everybody a chance to learn, to see the skills and take part. There are 5, 6 classes. The professionals are 3 yards, the professional pairs are 6 yards, but you only wall one side with your partner the other. Then the amateurs, which cannot wall as much, they get down to 2.5 yards, and the amateur pairs, they're just double up sort of thing.
I reckon this is just a very clever way of you getting the walls rebuilt on your farm, isn't it?
Definitely, definitely.
A good stone wall is a combination of the local rock and clever craftsmanship. And the magical thing is that each region has its own unique style of walling. Now, with fewer people working on the land after the war, the skills of dry stone walling might have disappeared altogether. But the Dry Stone Walling Association of Great Britain has done a marvellous job of keeping this particular craft alive.
We've been indirectly responsible for quite a lot of young people through MSc actually taking up dry stone walling as a living, as a means of self-employment. And that is a good thing. It means that the price will obviously drop because it's not just a limited few. And hopefully, with the standards that we're setting, the quality of the work will be much improved.
What makes a good stone wall, do you reckon? What are you looking for?
Stability. One, will it stand? Not necessarily look pretty, but I mean, will it stand a minimum of 25 years? Do remember, walls like this that you're looking at now would be built somewhere around about 1750, possibly 1700, some of them, and they've stood quite well. Time has made them the way they are, bent now, but generally speaking, they're still fairly strong and they're still a lot in quite good order.
2 or 3 centuries on, it seems reasonable to get the judges' opinion of today's standards.
Rather disappointing early on, especially in the professionals, but they're coming on now when it matters, like. As the day wears on and it gets to eye level, that's when they start to get a bit nicer and more pleasing. Because for all it has to be strong, you've got to have it pleasing to the eye on a competition.
And are you seeing some good young lads coming on?
Well, there might be odd ones, but I think, to be honest, I think it's going back myself.
Possibly they're giving lads prizes at competitions that they're not just quite as good as the prize merits. I think that's what it is. And they're going away home with a cup, and this almost makes them. And they're not just quite as good as...
Well, one thing it speaks for itself. In the old days, we had 3 yards to do. Well, now then, they're down to 2. Well, if they get much less, it'll be down to 1 yard.
So what do you think you ought to do?
We'll be having a grandfather's class next. We'll be about going for the
Have you been building stone walls a long time?
Yes, I've been building them quite a long time, but I'm going to start making a living at it now. I've been made redundant at the farm where I've worked at for 31 years, changed over to a suckler herd from dairy herd, and I'm going to try and make a living at it from now on.
So where did you learn?
Oh, I picked it up as I've gone along, and nowhere particularly, you know.
And what do you think about competitions like this?
I think they're a good thing, really. I've never competed before. I've never, you know, this is the first year I've ever competed.
And how are you doing?
Nay, didn't make for judge.
After 7 exhausting hours, it's all over. No more last-minute changes, just a moment to size up the competition before the prizes are awarded.
I feel worn out just watching these blokes all day. But I think I've actually learned what the secret of a really good, solid wall is. You've got to start with good foundations, and then some nice big stones up to this layer. And this is the critical thing, these throughs, the stones that tie the 2 sides of the wall together. And then lots of small stuff to pack in really tight, and the copings on the top. And I can't wait to get my hands on some rock. As it happens, they've just left me a nice little gap here to fill up. Now, whether I can remember all the details of how you build a wall or not, I'm not sure, but I can remember how you start.